Hi, it's Barb, Maple PhD, and recently my spouse and I have gotten into games that feature dice drafting. This is a mechanism where typically everyone has a little pool of dice that they're rolling, and then those dice get moved around the table somehow. Or maybe it's one big pool that gets rolled and everyone's choosing something from there. One of the things I like about this, especially when it's, everybody has their own pool of dice, I'm not necessarily stuck with what I have rolled, and I can look around the table and see one or two dice that might be good for me that hopefully will get to me, that I can chain together with the terrible things that my dice have on them. So I thought it might be fun to count through my top 3 dice drafting games. My number 3 is the Taverns of Tiefenthal. This is a game that features both deck building and dice drafting, which might explain why I like it so much. In this game, you have a pub that you're going to be trying to improve over time and attract better and better customers as you can. Throughout the game, you're going to play in rounds. First part of the round, you're going to use your deck until you have a certain number of customers laid out. Hopefully throughout that, you've also added some additional things to your pub, like a beer cart that will help you produce more beer, or maybe a waitress who will give you an extra die during the die rolling phase. But once everybody has finished that, you're going to roll your dice. From that dice pool, you're going to pick one and then move it on to the next player. And one of the things I really like is that you know what dice you need based on the customers you have. And if you don't have what you need right in front of you, you can look around the table and kind of see, oh, maybe Andrew won't use that 5 and I can grab it on my way over, so I'm okay grabbing this 2 that will do something else for me. And so I really like that part of the game. And then one by one, players activate their different dice in their pub in order to do upgrades to the pub, or produce beer in order to attract new customers, or move on this monk track, which helps you chain other things together and get some additional bonuses. So that's my number 3, the Taverns of Tiefenthal. My number 2 is Monsters on Board. This is a recent acquisition that has quickly risen up to be one of my favorite games. In this game, each player is controlling this group of monsters who is running through town and terrorizing everyone in order to get spook juice. You are also performing rituals to summon the Spider Jack, all of this in aid of having the best party at the end of the game. In this game, players draft dice. At the beginning of each round, you pull 4 out of a bag, roll them and put them in your car. Yes, it's a car. And you take one, pass it to the next player. In this one, you are drafting dice for their color, but also for the symbols that are on there. You want to get the right mix of things that will move monsters through your neighborhood in order to get some extra bonuses and get some of them to the end in order for extra points at the end of the game. But you're also trying to lay out this pattern of your dice on your player board. So you might need specific colors for that. You might want specific numbers. There are ways to manipulate the numbers so you aren't stuck with them. There are also ways to swap positions of dice. So if you don't get the right one during the first round, you might be able to swap it later. So there are plenty of ways to mitigate what you get. But it also, you can also look around and see what everyone has rolled and try and plan ahead for what might be available to you. This one has just been a lot of fun. I was drawn in by the art, like I am with so many games, but the gameplay is a lot of fun, and I love the puzzle of laying out that ritual board in front of you with the different dice, and then activating all the symbols on them each turn. So that's my number 2, Monsters on Board. And my number 1 is Pulsar 2849. This is a game where you're living in the future and trying to harness the power of pulsars by putting gyrodynes around them and spinning them up. It's a game where you're drafting dice and doing cool things at its core. In this game, it's one common pool of dice that you roll at the beginning of the round, and then there's a track that gives you the order of who gets to draft dice when. But this one has a cool mechanism where when you draft your die, if you draft one that has a higher number, you're going to have to knock yourself down on either that track that gives you the ordering for drafting, or on another track that could give you penalties later in the game. Or if you do a really low number die, you get to move up on that track. So you're always balancing, how much do I really need the 6 to do this action that I would like to do, or can I use a lesser number? What you're using the dice for are a variety of things. Sometimes you do need a specific number in order to do something like complete a project on your headquarters board in front of you, or patent a technology which gives you special abilities during the game. Sometimes you just need any number because you're going to go exploring on this board, and the number tells you, how you can move around the board. You also get to collect throughout the game some tokens that let you add or subtract the dice. So there are ways to mitigate, the dice that you get. So even if, no one rolled the number exactly that you need, and you were willing to take the penalty for it, you could take a lesser die and then bump it up a little bit and do the same thing that you were planning or that you really needed to do that turn. This is a game where you never quite have enough moves for the entire game, and it feels really tight, but I really enjoy it. The theme, it's there, but it doesn't need to be pulsars, but I am an astronomer, so I love that they did use pulsar as a theme here. Anyway, those are my favorite games that feature dice drafting. What's your favorite game? Is it one of the ones I've listed, or something I should maybe try and get to the table? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, like and subscribe to my channel so you know when my next videos come out. Or you can also look for me on Instagram and Twitter as @MeeplePhD, and you can check out my blog at meeplephd.com.